So do I finally like clones now? Hey fragrance family, I'm David, I'm a fragrance bro, of course your best source for everything fragrance related. I am inside the house today. I have my inside set and I realized my David lights don't work, the batteries ran out. Anyway, glad to be back with my inside set. I miss these old lights. Today I have a video that is kind of controversial for me to talk about because I don't necessarily like clones, but today I want to talk about some clones that have made me kind of change my tune a little bit. Now, a few years ago, I did a video on Dua and kind of the pros and cons about Dua fragrances, and of course, they're a clone house. I haven't really expressed a lot of my opinions about clones necessarily, here and there in some videos, and especially in comments when people talk about clones, I'll answer that. And I have not been in favor of clones. I don't like the aspect of fragrance houses directly copying other fragrances with the attempt to just blatantly just rip them off. I know that copying and riffing goes around in other houses, but I think other houses that try to do riffs on fragrances at least try to do their own spin on it. But clones are clones, and I've gotten many fragrances from clone houses. A lot of them I just refuse, but sometimes they'll send me something, and some fragrance houses I'll just never review, like Parfums Vintage, for instance, never review anything from them. But a while back, Haramain sent me a fragrance La Venture Night, and I did a review of it, and it was, you know, kind of a copy of Green Irish Tweed. A couple of things changed in it, but it got pretty close. They then sent me this one right here, and this one is their Portfolio Collection Royal Stallion. And when I smelled it, I immediately thought it smelled like Pegasus from Parfums de Marly. The thing about Pegasus, though, is that it's not one of those fragrances that I want. I don't want to spend, you know, $200-300 on Pegasus. It's not my type of fragrance. I like it, but it's not $300 like. So when I started wearing Royal Stallion, I started kind of realizing kind of the benefits of some clones. There are fragrances that I will never buy, like Pegasus. I think most of the time these clones, they don't get it exactly right, but they get it pretty close, in the ballpark at least. And for, you know, a very reasonable price, a cheap price, I'm willing to sacrifice exact details for something that costs a lot less. And in this case, I really kind of changed my tune just because Pegasus is not something that I love. It's not something I want to buy. But if I were to spend, you know, this amount of money, I forget how much it is, around the $30 mark, and get something like this, I would be okay with that because I would never spend $300 for Pegasus. It's a like and not a love, and that's why I would be okay with buying kind of a dupe here. Now, some of the notes in Royal Stallion are lavender, almond, bergamot, jasmine, heliotrope, sandalwood, vanilla, amber, and cumin. And I get a lot of the lavender, I get a lot of the heliotrope, in this. And I do get the almond in there. The almond almost adds kind of cherry-like quality, and it works really well with everything. It's nice and rich and deep and full. It lasts a pretty good amount of time, in the 8 to 10 hour range on me anyway. It puts off a really nice scent cloud. It is very put together. I think it has almost an elegant type of dressed up man type feel. Really like that about this. Same thing with Pegasus by Parfums de Marly, of course. It's sweet and almost has this musky type of quality, a little bit powdery as well. It's very, very nice. And since I got this, I also got La Venture, the original La Venture by Haramain, and this one smells a lot like Aventus, you guessed it. And how close is it? It's in the ballpark. Aventus clones aren't always very great for being a lot like Aventus, but like La Venture Night, it is close enough. So if you don't want to spend, you know, $300 or however much Aventus is, but you want to get kind of something cheaper, maybe you don't love Aventus, but you like the smell all right, I think La Venture is really good for that. I like this a lot. And of course, I love the bottle. It reminds me of like maybe some construction you find in Halo or something. I know a lot of people ask me what I think about this clone and that clone, and especially when I talk about fragrances that smell similar to each other, I never put clones in those type of lists, mostly because I just don't like the ethical ramifications that has. But I do see an upside, at least one upside, to having clones. And so I get why some people like clones. Now, I'm not gonna be one of those channels that's gonna talk endlessly about clones. I just don't think that it's worth my time or yours, to be frank. But I will say that if there are fragrances out there, like I said, that maybe you don't love, but you like, and you don't want to spend a whole lot of money on them, I think clones offer a reasonable solution to that problem. Of course, so do decants. So I see both sides of the equation here. I see both arguments, but I'm really curious, what do you think? What do you think of a Royal Stallion? If you were to get a clone of something that you don't necessarily love, what do you think of that? And what do you think of La Venture by Haramain? I really want to know what your thoughts are here. I want to kind of open this up to discussion here in the comments and see what you say, just because I'm still on the fence. With that, I'd like to thank my sponsor, Fragrance X. Fragrance X is an online retailer that sells thousands of legitimate fragrances for a discounted price. If you're considering buying a fragrance, definitely check out Fragrance X. I'll have a link down below to them as well as a coupon. So yeah, let me know what you think down in the comments down below. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to smash that like, I'll love you for it. And subscribe down below and click that little bell so you get a notification every time I make an upload. I'll see you next time. I'm Dave with the Fragrance Bros. Bye.